What's up, YouTube peeps and barbecue freaks? Thank you guys for stopping by today. Today's video, we're gonna do some pork spare ribs on the offset smoker. I'm gonna show you how I trim them up when I'm trimming ribs for like the house, a party, a cater event, whatever. This is how I trim them up. I'm gonna show you that. We're gonna keep it very simple, salt and pepper rub. You know, sometimes I just love a good old Central Texas style rib. So that's what I'm aiming for today. Again, we'll get them trimmed up, seasoned up, throw them on the pit, and see how they turn out. I think they're gonna turn out great. I can't wait, and that video is coming up next. All right, so here I have a rack of spare ribs, some pork spare ribs. Now, I like to buy the spares and trim them down instead of buying St. Louis cut, because I like to, sometimes when you buy St. Louis cut ribs, they come out a little too thin. So I like to buy spares, and then you know, I'm able to control the trimming to my liking. So first thing I'm gonna do is on this back side is I'm gonna remove this flap. If you want to save this, smoke it, eat it as a Scooby snack, go ahead. I'm not gonna do that. So I get that off. Here I got this breastbone, brisket bone, whatever you want to call it. I like to come just inside of that and get that cut off. Again, this piece also, there's actually quite a bit of meat on here, so I'm probably gonna go ahead and save this. Just trim it up a little bit. I'll season that up and throw it on. So we're gonna put that aside over here for now. So this bottom part here is really, really thin. So I'm going to push this out and just come feeling for a bone here, just right inside. Cut this flap off because that's gonna burn off. Now here you have the rib tips. Some of that I like to keep on, some of that I like to cut off. This here is really, really thin. You can make that out, that's gonna burn off. You can see where this cartilage line is, right in here. So I'm gonna take my knife just to the outside of that cartilage bone and kind of round it off. Get rid of that. I'm not gonna need it. I usually will take this end piece here where all this fat is. If you cut this fat off, it just becomes really, really thin. As you can see here, I hope you can make it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that off. So it's usually about 2 bones. Flip it over, come to the inside, cut that right off. There's a lot of extra fat on the bottom side. Instead of removing the membrane, I'm just gonna take my knife and cut this fat off. As I do this, it's gonna take that membrane off with it. So you can leave it on. Some people prefer to leave it on. Leave it on. I prefer to cut it off, or to take the membrane off. Or if I'm doing a bunch of racks of ribs, a lot of times I'll just score it. You can do that as well. I don't think it's gonna be an issue in this cook, so I'm not gonna focus too much on that. Very, very simple. There's still some fat here I wanna get off. So let's see, I think this end piece, there's a little more cartilage here I wanna cut off. So we'll get that off. And at this point, I'm just kind of trying to round the rib off. So there'll be a little bit of rib tip left on, which is kind of what I'm aiming for. I like to leave a little bit of that rib meat on there. This just makes for a longer rib. This bottom part is still really thin. I'm gonna go one more bone here inside. And that is about it. there's some fat here I want to skim off. So I'm just trying to clean it up a little bit. And I think that's going to be it. As far as the trim goes, I'm fairly happy with this. I'm going to round this off just a little bit. Kind of cut through a little bit of bone and cartilage here. So shape-wise, you know, if I'm cooking at home, this is perfect, just like this. So I think the trimming is going to be done. Get a little bit more of this fat off. So I'm happy with the trimming. Let's get it seasoned up. All right, so I got them trimmed up. The rub I'm going to use is this True Texas Barbecue from HEB. This is simply a salt and pepper blend. It has a little more pepper. I'm not sure the ratio, but the first ingredient is pepper on the label, so it has a little more pepper than salt. But for a good Central Texas style rib, for me, you know, sometimes I just love a rib with just some salt and pepper and maybe a little bit of sauce. But this is the rub I'm going to use here. So we're going to get these ribs flipped over. I'm actually using water as my binder. I think really that's all you need is water. So we're going to give these a nice coating. Got that down. We'll flip it over. Hit it with some more water. You want to use mustard, apple juice, apple cider vinegar, whatever. Your choice. I'm just using water. So we're going to hit the top part. And this rub smells really good. And I love the, I have used this before. I love the pepper flakes that it gives the ribs, or any meat really they're using. So got that, hit it with a little more water. So these are rubbed down to my liking. We're gonna let them sit for a bit, for probably about 10-15 minutes, and then we'll get them on the pit. All right, so got the ribs here, got them on. Are you actually using reverse flow smoker today? So we got a offset here. This thing is a cooking machine. So I've got a bunch of briskets on that I'm cooking for an event. And then got the ribs on. So we'll let those go for a couple hours, see what they look like. I'm running post oak here, tons of wood. So we're gonna let it run. And then, like I said, we'll check back in a couple hours and see what they look like. All right, so we're about 2 hours in. Take a look at these ribs. Oh yeah, taking on some nice color. I'm gonna spritz some. I'm simply using water. They're looking good, nice color. That's what some good old post oak would do for you. So we're gonna let them keep going. That bark is actually kind of sad, but I want to take a little more color. So we're going to close it back up and then check back in about 45 minutes. 30 to 45 minutes. All right, let's take a look at these ribs. Let them move into the top shelf. Oh yeah, beautiful color, look at that. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap these. They're getting a little pulled back. So I have some fat here I want to render out, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap them in some foil. I'm not going to add anything to the wrap. In fact, look at this here. So I'm going to just spritz it with some water. We're gonna get wrapped up and put it back on. At this point, they've been going for about 2 hours and 45 minutes. So we'll get it back on for probably another 30, 45 minutes, and we'll pull them off once they're done. All right, guys, these ribs are done. Just pulled them off. Man, these things are tender. Look how easy they bend. Got a beautiful color. That bark is nice. So I'm gonna wrap them up, let them rest for about 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll cut into them. You know, I thought about saucing. I don't think I'm gonna sauce them. Just a good old salt and pepper rib. They look too good to mess up. So we'll pick back up once we get them cut up, and we'll give them a taste. All right, so got the ribs cut up. It's a nice bark. One thing left to do is give them a taste. All right, let's see how we did. Ooh. Oh gosh. Those things are tender as all get out. I like them a little more on the tender side when I'm eating ribs at home. That salt and pepper with the post oak wood, man, sometimes that's all you need for a good rib. These are really, really good. I gotta take another bite. Right off. Damn it, that's good. Anyway, man, those ribs are good, nice and tender. You know, sometimes simple, keeping things simple is the way to go. I miss just a good old backyard Central Texas rib. These came out great. Salt, pepper, post oak, that's all you need sometimes. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.